Delightfully Different is brought to you by Manscaped. This holiday season, give him the gift of confidence with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by Manscaped. Have him join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. Use the code DIFFERENT for 20% off plus free shipping. Every winter, parents, grandparents, and caregivers pack up their kids, head on over to the mall, and plop their kid on a hefty stranger's lap for a photo opportunity. I'm Lexi, and this is Delightfully Different. Of course, I'm talking about Santa. Today, I'm talking with one of those hefty strangers about what it's like to be Santa. You won't believe how much those Santa suits cost.
My name is David Deli Paoli, otherwise known as Bear, otherwise known as Santa Claus.
All right, so you are Santa Claus. And how long have you been playing Santa Claus?
This is going to be my 4.5 years.
Yeah. 4.5 years. When did you get started and how did you get started playing Santa?
Roughly 4 years ago, for a lot of people. And, I had just gone through a pretty bad break where there was like a stepdaughter involved. So, I was extra heartbroken, and due to things happening in my life, like when my father passed away, I didn't really quite get the chance to grieve. And then my dog passed away. And so all these things like came back and just kind of kicked the crap out of me all at once. And from working a lot and just not procrastinating, in my own head, I stopped taking, not stopped taking my meds, but like I just was too busy to go pick them up. And, so I went like 2 weeks without my medications. And
do you mean like antidepressants?
Yeah, anxiety meds,
okay.
Antidepressants. And it got really scary. I had some pretty dark thoughts and not very Santa-like thoughts. And then one day I got tagged in a post because my friend knew I had a Santa suit. And of course, when you're blessed with the physical gifts, people notice. So I got tagged in it, and I wound up teaming up with, and actually wound up doing two of them back to back. So that Thursday night, I wound up being the Santa Claus for Joanne, who owns Wicked Dolphin Distillery in Cape Coral.
Oh, so you did it at like a bar?
Well, not at a bar. She has like a big like outdoor thing, and they do like a big Christmas party things. Like people come with their kids, and Santa comes in on a fire truck, which was it was a bucket list item that I didn't even know was on my bucket list until I got to do it.
Okay.
But, I used to grow up watching Santa Claus on the fire truck driving by as a kid, and now I'm that guy, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, so I got to do that, and like I went from feeling like the lowest I've ever felt to where like I didn't matter to like, dude, you're Santa Claus. You're everybody in the room loves you, and it's but it's not even so much that, it's just how excited the people are, and how growing up, I always wanted to be like famous, and I didn't care what it was for, but I wanted to be famous because I wanted to be able to like walk into like a hospital full of sick kids, and like just me being there, like, makes everybody happy. And you know what I mean? Like just to have that effect on someone just simply by being and becoming Santa Claus kind of, gave me that. And, and then the next morning I got up and I wound up being Santa Paws for Logan and Sadie on Wink for the morning show here.
On the news, on the local news in Fort Myers, Florida.
Yes. Okay. They're on the radio, 96.9 Wink, Logan and Sadie in the morning.
Okay.
And, I came in and I was their Santa Paws, and what they do is they do a big food, toy, treat supplies drive leading up to Christmas. And then we go around and we deliver to the shelters. There's like 3 or 4 major shelters in the area that we divvy everything up and we bring it by. I dress up and, go play with the animals and, deliver whatever they need. And it's just, doing that, and then just being a part of something that, was helping as well. Like I realized like after those 2 days, I had a whole, I don't want to say an epiphany, but, I started thinking like, it felt good, like not just because I was for myself, it was because like other people were finding it, I was struggling so bad with my mental health, and I mean, Santa Claus saved my life, and there's no other way to put it. And like, if I can do that for other people, I have to do it. And that the following season, I decided I was going to do it again.
Thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped. My fella likes to keep himself groomed for me. He got the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by Manscaped. He was expecting the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra groin and body hair trimmer to at least nick him once, but it didn't. He said he was most surprised that the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion and Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant didn't sting like aftershave does on your face. He was reluctant to use it, but he gave it a try and he said it didn't hurt at all. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra doesn't just stop at the grooming essentials. It also comes with 2 holiday bonuses, the Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo and the Shed 2.0 Toiletry Bag. These premium extras make sure he's always ready to jingle and mingle, whether at home or on the go. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code DIFFERENT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code DIFFERENT at manscaped.com. Stay on top of your grooming game and be ready for anything the season throws your way. I'm Lexi, and this is Delightfully Different. Today, I'm talking with David Deli Paoli, also known as Bear, who plays Santa Claus. Bear is talking about how he got started as Santa. He did it one season by suggestion, but it didn't stop there.
I was actually at the Shell Factory eating lunch when I get called by a friend of mine who has a friend looking for a Santa. And she's like, is it okay to give him your number? And I said, okay. And all of a sudden, this guy, Jason, calls me, and they're looking for a Santa Claus for the Shell Factory.
Okay.
And I'm already at the Shell Factory. They're eating lunch while I get this phone call.
It was meant to be.
Yes. And the Shell Factory had, from when I first moved down here, they used to have the big aviary where you would walk in and they had all the birds and the giant tortoise and, iguanas and peacocks and all kinds of stuff around. And I loved it. That was my happy place. When I was having a rough day or a rough time, I would go there and I would get a bunch of bird seed and I would just feed things. And then actually later on, I wound up, through a friend of mine, Danica, I wound up volunteering there, working with the exotic animals and stuff like that. And so I've had a long history with the Shell Factory. And when the opportunity came up, because their previous Santa from forever was having health issues, I stepped in and, they loved it, and, they needed someone to take over. So I started doing theirs. And I thought, as an entertainer, because, I do music, comedy and all that. So I was like, well, let me add this to like my repertoire and make this something that, I can make some money on, make it part of my business.
Yeah.
And upon doing some research, you know what I found out?
What'd you find out?
I found out Santa makes too much money.
How much money does Santa make?
So now I will say this before I go into this. A top quality Santa Claus and the experience that they provide is priceless.
Okay.
That being said, the cost of looking and, achieving that effect is not cheap.
Right.
Some of the top Santas in the country make over $100,000 a year in that 1 month.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, some of these guys are charging $500 to $1,000 an hour.
That's insanity. I mean,
now granted, that's
put on them.
larger corporate type things. You know what I mean? Like Macy's, that's New York City paying the top, dollar guys. But,
right.
These guys, now I will say this, my suit, which I get complimented on all the time, is basically your basic entry level professional Santa suit.
Okay.
And the whole getup costs me like $500-600.
Okay.
Your really nice suits are costing thousands, $5,000, $4,000 for some of these suits.
Interesting. And this is not the same suit that the very first time someone said they had a Santa suit and called you up and said, can you be Santa? You ended up getting your own in the meantime?
Yes, I wound up buying a better suit because the suit that I had originally was given to me by, you remember Steven from Halloween Megastore?
No.
He's owner of Halloween Megastore. He's involved in all kinds of stuff now. But
okay.
He sponsored Strange Arrangement.
Okay.
Shout out Pine Island, for when we were doing a lot of those crazy events. And so they sponsored us. We would go in and he would give us, costumes and makeup and stuff that we would need for these events.
Okay.
And I think it was for a Tabarini Foundation thing. Okay. Where I mentioned something about, well, maybe I can get a Santa suit from him. And so I went to him and he just gave me the suit.
Okay. That's
so
nice.
He kind of is the precursor to, me getting into all of this. So I thank him for that.
Okay.
But we live in Florida. Yeah. It's hot.
It is.
And so the Santa suit, it was like one of those thick plush ones.
Right.
So it was really heavy. So I had to go and get like a nice, thin, like, velvet kind of, and it's really nice. It's a beautiful suit. But I mean, like I said, my boots are $100 alone. My belt is $100 alone. And those are, again, entry level items.
Okay.
So to bring that experience to someone, I mean, nothing's worse than a cheesy Santa.
Yeah.
With the crappy, listen, I'm not talking crap about beards. There's the fake beards, because there are a lot of really good fake beards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm in some Santa groups on Facebook and there's some amazing beards, mustaches, eyebrows, all of that. But some of these guys just show up with like the dollar store Santa Claus wigs and, like there's not a lot of effort into the appearance, which is why a lot of the magic gets lost. They just see, I can buy a beard and a suit and go make a couple bucks for the holidays. And then that kind of cheapens it. And then, a lot of these parents, the average cost of a Santa Claus photo at the mall is like $40 to $80, depending on where you are.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I don't have children and I don't go to see Santa.
And that's your problem there. Not the children part, the Santa part. But they have you not accepted Santa Claus into your life as your
I haven't seen Santa since I was like a teenager.
But it's crazy. Now, I'm not saying every place charges a minimum of that. You know what I mean? You might find some places that are doing, $10 photos and things like that. But most of those places are, you take it yourself, $5, $10, you go in and you take your own photo with Santa.
Okay.
So one of the things that I wound up doing was I bring a photographer with me.
Okay.
His name is Patrick Onifer. Shout out Patrick O Photos. He also happens to be the local he is the head photographer for the Florida Everblades.
Oh, okay.
Just went back to back. But enough of that. But Patrick is awesome enough to head up our photography stuff. He volunteers his time. And I bought some printers and, I buy the supplies for that. And what we've been doing is look at the Shelf Factory. We will set up and we provide free professional photography. People come in, they take their pictures with me. Dogs, animals, whatever. I've taken pictures with hairless cats, skunks, whatever you can think of. People bring it out because they want a picture with Santa. Okay. It don't look like anybody in a family, but that's their kid. But it's, the thing I liked about doing the Shelf Factory, which is, no longer, I don't know if you had heard about that.
Yeah.
Shelf Factory closed down,
right?
But, and people are like, oh, you're going to go do the mall or Bass Pro Shops. And I prefer the smaller, more intimate settings because I don't like the idea of pushing a kid through like cattle.
Right. Okay.
I also, I used to work with autistic preschool kids, and I understand that not every kid is ready to do everything at that time. You know what I mean? Like your kid might be fantastic the whole walk up on that line. They could wait for an hour on that line and be fantastic. But the second they get up close to Santa, they freak out.
Okay.
And a lot of times it's like you've only got like a minute to get this picture. So you're stuck with a kid crying.
Yeah.
And a damaged kid or, but then you have to go off and on. And if you want to come back to do it again, guess what? You got to go get on that big ass line again. Got to pay again. So like at the Shelf Factory, people come up. If the kid, is having a hard time, we'll go shop around a little bit and just come back whenever you're ready. I make sure every kid gets a few minutes. I talk to every kid. I try to, import some kind of like, I don't want to say a lesson, but, when a kid comes up, and he's got like a little brother or sister, I'm like, you make sure you take care of them. and sometimes you just know when a kid's naughty, like
Okay.
as a former naughty lister himself, like game recognizes game, I guess is what the kids say these days.
Yeah.
But, I could tell when those kids are there. And so as they walk away, I'll be like, oh, hey, real quick, that thing you did last week, I don't ever want to see that again. Okay. And they're like, only, and even if they were like, oh no, I was good. Usually mom and dad will be like, oh yeah, well, why did daddy have to replace the toilet last weekend? The parents usually back me up on it.
Right.
But it's just, it's fulfilling. And like when I started looking into all that stuff, it was like, I want to bridge that gap because not everybody can afford the great Santa experiences. And I remember a good friend of mine, Doug, back in the day, he was a struggling single dad and he didn't, have a ton of money. And when it came time for Christmas, he got his daughter, maybe, I think at this point she was maybe like around 7-ish. But he would get her, the $1 or something that she wanted and then just fill up with stuff from the dollar store. So it just looked like a big
right.
something. Well, now if he's got to pay $40 to appease, grandma for some photo, that takes a big chunk out of that. It takes a big chunk out of people's Christmas dinners. People should not have to decide whether they have to sacrifice something from their holiday or their family to take a picture like that.
Right.
And so we do that, where we go. And of course, people can take their own photos as well. But the cool thing about having, Patrick too, is he's taken pictures, candid ones. So we print out the one that's there, but then you have access to go online and download the other ones for free as well and go get prints made if you want. He'll get that picture, that candid one of you like setting your baby in my arms or, but I also try to have fun with it. As I mentioned, I worked with autistic preschool kids, but, and with that, you have to think quick on your feet.
Yeah.
And, so I have, had experiences where the kids are crying. And so I, put the kid in my arm anyway. And I'm not going to say, lady, stop doing that. You're making your kid cry more. So I just make like a crying face too. So we're like, so now the baby's crying, Santa's crying, and they have a cool picture to remember forever. And, negotiate with the kids and be like, okay, listen, give mom a good smile and we'll take a silly face one, me and you. How's that? And then, so there's a bunch of pictures of me and kids like, oh, making faces. It's, for me, it's more than the picture. It's the memory, it's why I do all the entertaining that I do, the comedy and the music is because those are some of my greatest memories are, at concerts or whatever it is. And, if I'm being totally honest, part of the reason why I was on the naughty list was because I was one of the ones that tried to ruin it for the younger kids.
Okay.
Which is kind of why I'm a little more, I haven't released anything yet, but I'm putting together, I guess you could call it a program for kids that are transitioning out of believing into not believing.
Oh.
To help them realize that, okay, now you are part of the magic. Okay. Don't crap on their magic.
You've really embraced the Santa thing a lot, Bear. And not only that, but you've started a nonprofit foundation.
I did.
Is that how you're able to pay for the photos and whatnot? I mean, because obviously you've put money into this. Are you able to receive money from sponsors and stuff in order to make all this magic happen?
Now we are. For the first 3 years, I just funded it myself.
Okay.
And even now that we've just started off, I'm still basically paying for this stuff myself just because the little money that's in there, I'll put out like a tip jar when we do the photos, so people are we're kind enough to put that in there. So I would use that to kind of help buy the replaceables, like the paper for the printers and the ribbons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just actually ordered some custom metal Christmas ornaments that we're going to be selling as a thing. So I'm donating that. Our dear friend Slim.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He donated some media gear so we could do content for the Santa stuff. And, we've been doing little things here and there with that. But now that I have the actual 501c3 in place, it allows me to expand. I've been doing nonprofit bingo over at Backstreets to earn money for the charity.
Okay.
The first month we did it, we donated to the employees at Captain Conn's on Bokeelia because the restaurant got wiped out in the storms. This past month, we're taking the money and we're donating a bunch of turkeys, like $650 worth of turkeys to the Pine Island Food Pantry to help feed the families of Pine Island for Thanksgiving.
So your Santa Life Foundation isn't just for giving people these opportunities to have these free photos with Santa, but it's also you're giving back to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's kind of like it started as like, oh, this is like a picture thing. But the more, I got into it and the more I explored the option of the 501c3, the more I realized, there's so many other things I can do. And, I've worked with a lot of nonprofits from the Calusa Nature Center, Tabarini Foundation, all these different things. And so I feel like almost feel like everything I've been doing has been in culmination of this. I've often wondered, what my purpose was, as most of us do. And, the comedy, the music, the entertaining, that all lines up with the Santa stuff. All the charity work and the nonprofit I've done my whole life lines up with this. I've worked with children my whole life, coaching, umpiring, working at the autistic preschool. It's just always been stuff that I do. And it's like, and this is all of that, and I get to help people. And that's, kind of the biggest thing about it is, I get to take, now that I have like a business, like my legitimate business, I use that to kind of fund the foundation until we get things going. But now, that's a cool thing about the foundation is even if we never do a fundraiser, I can go out and work as Santa because everything I earn as Santa Claus goes to the foundation as well.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
So at the very least, but this year, the season should be good. We should raise some good money this season.
Well, and your beard is epic. I feel like it's been grown for this purpose.
It is my beard and my belly.
Okay. Oh, you got Santa Life tattooed on your belly? Like Thug Life? Oh my God, that's glorious. Is that real?
That's real. Our dear friend Savannah did that. I'll send you a picture so it's not because I know it was fuzzy there. I don't know if it was fuzzy from the pixelation or from my hair on my belly, but it was fuzzy. But yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. So you have to do it. You got it tattooed on you. You have to do it for life.
I listen. This is my calling. This is what I want to do. This is, it's a mixture of everything. I get to do events and fundraisers. I get to feed people, give them clothes. I get to hang out with kids and play with them and provide magic. And then I get to give them back and then go back to their mom and dad afterward.
Now your beard, your epic beard, it's mostly brown with a little bit of gray in it. Do you make it white when you are Santa? Do you put anything in it or do you keep it that color?
Actually, what I try to do is I try to date train wrecks, so it makes my beard gray faster.
Okay.
But no, there's actually this awesome brush and makeup that I use, Mehron, I think if I'm saying that right, Mehron.
Okay.
They do a lot of, Halloween makeup, stuff like that. And so they have a really good Russian white makeup that I put in. I put it on like a wet brush.
Okay.
I just kind of brush it through my beard all up and through. And then I use a toothbrush for my mustache and my eyebrows. And then I have this other, it's kind of like on a stick, like on a popsicle stick, like a white makeup on there.
Okay.
And I put that over there too. And then I use like a finishing powder just so it dries out real quick. And,
Is it difficult to remove it once you got it in there?
No, it's real easy. Just hop in the shower, it comes right out with water.
Okay, interesting. And then when you go to be Santa, do you bring like a Mrs. Claus with you or any elves?
This year will be my first year where I'm trying to include those things. Last year, I did have an elf, but her and I broke up. So,
Okay.
But there is one event that I do every year where they have another volunteer that comes out as Mrs. Claus. That event's not going on this year, sadly. But I'm looking. I have people that I've spoken to. I'm actually also getting. We got approved for service hours from FGCU, So we'll be bringing in like theater students and stuff like that to help out.
Oh, they're
my
gonna
goal, yeah, my goal this year is to raise enough money to upgrade costumes and props. There's a really nice printing kiosk that I want to get that'll make it a lot faster and easier. And then better, like good costumes for elves. And, I want to get a Grinch. I want to Buddy the Elf. But
okay.
Not just anybody can throw on a Buddy or a Grinch costume.
No, you got to really embody that.
I could do it, but speaking of embodying, my embody is too much. So I would never be able to. People would be like, what? The Grinch isn't 300 pounds.
You are the Santa. You are the Santa. Yeah. But has any kid ever peed on you?
No, actually.
No
dogs either.
No dogs have peed on you? Okay, that's good.
No, I've not been peed on, puked on, knock on wood.
And I'm assuming you ask the kids what they want what do you want from Santa for Christmas? Do you ask them what they want? And then what is the most common answer that you get?
I guess it depends on whatever's big at the time, but I know that the kids love Lego still. That's something that, and as a Lego freak myself,
yeah,
it kind of makes my heart smile every time. And I'm like, listen,
okay,
if I bring you this Lego set, is it okay if I come help you build it sometime in January? And they love that. But I know Roblox is a thing that I hear a lot about. They want the Robux so that they can go spend it online.
What is the funniest answer you've ever gotten when you asked what they want? Oh no.
So there was this kid. The only way I could describe him is Sheldon, not John Sheldon.
Yeah.
Sheldon from
Big Bang Theory.
Yes, Big Bang Theory. So I ask him what he wants for Christmas, and he tells me, Christmas isn't about presents. It's just for the love and joy of family. And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I'm like, but if there was one thing that, you would want, what would it be? True story. Nothing has been exaggerated to protect the innocent.
Okay.
He says, well, I've really been having a fascination lately with mechanical pencils. Yeah, mechanical pencils.
I love it.
I was like, yes, we can absolutely, because sometimes kids ask you for something and you're like, yeah, we can get you that. Sometimes they ask you for something big and you're like, I don't know, man, I think an F-14 fighter jet might be a little much. Do you have room for that? Do you have a pilot's license? Let's start small. You know what I mean?
Mechanical pencils.
But mechanical pencils, Santa can handle that. But sometimes I get, sometimes there's some sad ones.
I was going to say, what's the saddest answer you've ever gotten?
After Hurricane Ian, I had a little boy ask for a new roof for his grandma.
Oh, wow. Did you cry?
When I'm in show mode,
yeah,
it's hard to break me out of that. But I've so used to, I've been shaped like Santa my whole life. So I've been made fun of. And so, I've got that quickness about me with the comebacks.
Yeah.
And so before I could cry, because I could see his grandma in the back, because she's the one that brought him there, and I could see her getting upset.
I'm sure.
And so I was like, well, buddy, I don't know that I can. I was like, my elves can only, they're good at building, but I don't, they can build toys, but I don't know if I trust them to build a roof. And I'm like, I might not be able to get you a new roof, but maybe I can help grandma get a new insurance company.
Okay. That's a good answer.
And then grandma laughed and, and everybody, lifted the mood a little bit, but it's,
yeah.
It's, and sometimes the kids will, they get shy. So I'll just be like, well, what should we get for mommy for Christmas? I'll try to get them to think about other people and,
Has a kid ever asked you for something and then you look over at the parent and they're like, no, don't say you're going to bring it. Do you ever get communication from the parents about the things the kids are asking for?
Not really, not in a negative way. Usually it's the kid's shy and it's the parent telling me,
okay.
Tell them you want the soda. No. I will say that the thing that I hear the most, because the parent might not say something or be like, "Ugh," but you'll hear that, after the kid says it.
Yeah.
And slime
Really?
is the big one. Yes. Well, because the kids, they get it stuck in the carpet and then, they leave it there and then it dries up and then the carpet's ruined. Or slime can really mess up your sink and your plumbing.
Interesting.
So I learned that from, my ex with her kid. And so that's one of the things I do. And anytime a kid asks me for slime, I say, okay, but you got to pinky promise me that you're not going to play with it in the sink or on the rug.
Okay.
And the parents are like, yes.
Thank you. Now, you mentioned your business. What is your business that you own that you make money on?
So I own a little shop in Bokeelia on Pine Island. It's called the Bear's Den Apothecary. We are a legal hemp store selling, flower, vapes, topicals, tinctures, edibles.
Is this the same as a dispensary?
Yeah, it's basically like a recreational dispensary. I operate under a federal loophole that is part of the 2018 U.S. Farm Bill.
Yeah, they have them here in Utah as well, which I was surprised about, like in the mall. Does that ever interfere with you being Santa? Have the two paths ever crossed? Has anybody ever been like, I don't want you going near that stoner Santa?
No, but I keep my Santa pretty separate from that. The shop, there's a lot of older folks down here. And while, people are, smoking and getting buzzed and stuff, I got a lot of folks that are coming in for edibles, and things, and stuff to get off of medication. Gabapentin is a big one that I've helped a lot of people get off of.
Yeah.
It's kind of just another facet of being able to help people. I opened up a business to provide a living, but it's a service. And I think that people, they love that I'm a Santa Claus. My customers love it. My one employee, when I became official, with the nonprofit, the Island newspaper, we did a little interview and a story about the foundation starting. And my one employee cut it out and put it up on the wall. And I'm like, well, nobody needs to see this. It looks self-serving to having that up in my store. So I took it down. She put it back up. So I took that down. She must have like 12 copies of this paper somewhere, because every time I took it down, she had another one. And I took it down, threw it away. Another one. I'm like, okay, I give up. So I just leave it there. But everybody loves it. I've had people approach me on the island, like, God bless you for what you do. It's awesome. And everybody's been supportive of both. But good. Like I said, I take, my Santa stuff real seriously. I might joke around a lot, but that's the one thing that, I'm a big proponent of cannabis for all types of uses, but you will never catch me smelling like it in my Santa suit.
Okay.
You might see me at my music gig, drinking some whiskey. You will never, ever, ever smell alcohol on me in my Santa suit.
Have you met other Santas, and is that reputation of drunk Santa true?
I have not really met any other professional Santas in person, but like I said, I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
However, I will say that I have at least that I know of, I've replaced at least 4 drunk Santas.
Okay, so the reputation is true.
Yeah, so basically it's usually just some like old alcoholic that's like, oh, I got a beer, I'm in a Santa suit, and people just deal with it. And,
right.
But and I don't knock it. Look, man, I don't hate on any other Santa, because if you're doing it, you're doing it. But
right.
There's actually rules of Santa. There's like Santa schools out there and seminars, and there's just a widely accepted like rule of Santa Claus. And being sober and not smelling like booze or weed is one of those things. The only time that you're ever going to find me not smelling like weed.
How busy are you during the holiday season? And do you do this like in the summer as well?
I do the summer. I do Christmas in July.
Okay.
And right now My season is from Black Friday to Christmas Day.
Do you do it every day?
Not every single day, but I don't schedule myself at the store, and I cancel all my music gigs. I don't book any music gigs or anything during that month. So it's all Santa Claus. And you know, right now, I think from that time frame, there's only, I think, 8 days that I don't have anything booked.
Okay.
But a lot of those days I have 2 and 3 appearances booked.
Wow. Okay. You are definitely busy during that holiday season then. And I'm really happy for you. It sounds like you've really embraced it and it's working for you. We only have a minute and a half left.
Yeah.
So before you go, I need for you to give me your best ho, ho, ho.
That's funny because like I mentioned with the autistic kids, like, so I'm like a sensitive Santa, so I really don't ho 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 unless the kids ask, because a lot of kids get
okay.
But since you asked and you are on the nice list,
am I?
I feel I can give you a good little
Okay.
Ho, ho, ho.
That was a good ho ho ho. Links to the Santa Life Foundation and some of the things we talked about are available wherever you found this podcast. Thanks for joining me on Delightfully Different. If you or someone you know lives life differently, I'd love an interview. Email me, lexiontheradio@gmail.com. That's LEXI on the radio@gmail.com, or go to delightfullydifferentpodcast.com and have a delightful week.